Welcome back, Summoners, as we are going to head into the fourth game for tonight between Imperium Pro Team against AHQ Fighters. My name is Chris. I'm joined by Jay Storm. This is going to be the last match for tonight, and boy, we had some pretty interesting games for the first three games that just happened.
Well, today definitely has been the story of David against Goliath, and 3 out of 3 times so far, Goliath has convincingly clobbered out David in this situation. So now Imperium Pro Team, the team that's still trying to find their first ever win in the GPL, so far they are 0-13.
Yeah, so in the previous split, they did not manage to pick up a win as well. And yesterday against the Bangkok Titans, it almost felt like there was a small slither of hope, but they were unable to sort of close out some of the advantages that they had earlier. So that managed to, that resulted in them actually in the defeat. And let's see if they are going to be able to do so against AHQ Fighter. And of course, speaking about AHQ franchise, we have already seen the main team go 2-0 in this week and well on their way to the 10-0 that they are looking for. So far, there has only been one team that has been able to do that in the entire GPL history, which was Taipei Assassins in the previous split. And I think that AHQ, they are trying to prove themselves as a worth and trying to get that for themselves.
And now with AHQ Fighter, the sister team to Deno within the same split of the GPL, it looks like that might be coming true.
Yeah, that's right. So right now, Imperium Pro Team against AHQ Fighters, and the Fighters have a very interesting back history for themselves. If you look at it, they have 2 of the members that were previously on the AHQ main team, Elvis and Lantier. And Elvis played a short while on the AHQ side. He switched from AD carry over to mid lane, if I'm not wrong. And then he played some games when Lesnar was not playing, and then Lantier was just missing for an entire split. And then now he's back on the regional stage again, now with a couple of new players mixed into the equation, going up against Imperium Pro Team, who has had a small roster swap as well. Having Kaigu now, who was previously on Mineski, who sort of made his appearance in the world stages as well, now joining in on the Imperium Pro Team side.
Actually, my prescription for Imperium Pro Team will be to go for champions that can punish AHQ Fighters' aggression. They are a very, very aggressive team. Lanter and Mr. Elvis, 2 of previously playing on the main AHQ team, now they're playing for the Fighters team. These 2 are very solid laners as well as a jungler, and they can actually find a lot of picks within those areas. But AHQ Fighters' weakness is that they don't really have the communication and synergy down for those massive team fights just yet. CCB, his ability to use the Sharvana and his calls in team fights as well, haven't really been spotted so far as what they demonstrated against TPA. His Dragon's Descent was all found all sorts of funny angles and put Ysera in very funny decisions, and as a result, RD was also caught out multiple times.
Yeah, and the thing about AHQ Fighters as well, if you look at them as a whole, they are a hyper-aggressive team. And I was talking to this with Wolf earlier. If you want to beat out a team like this, sometimes you just need to be able to punish them for the high-risk plays. If not, if you look at it, they're just going to hit you like a brick wall. If you look at their logo, it's a punch as well. So if you compare this punch to the punch up there, so yeah, you almost got you get the picture. Yeah, so Imperium Pro Team.
The fist of Lanter is one that hits really hard, but I was saying that Imperium Pro Team, I would want them to go for pick composition. Something that requires AHQ to be on the same page when they go for those team fights. Because when you're dismantling a Nidalee composition, or perhaps they can go for a Ziggs option as well, you need to have all your members on the same page to go for the same target and engage at the same time. Because if those things aren't really that well coordinated, you have a lot of trouble trying to go up against this. And just as I talk about it, they ban out the Nidalee.
No Cougar action, and of course we are still on the 4.9 patch before we get that huge change to Nidalee, which I think that's gonna make a big change in the competitive scene as that gets patches in. But so far, we're still on that patch where Nidalee will still pretty much hit like a brick. And let's see what are some of the bans that's coming out. Lee Sin and Kill taken on the side of Imperium Pro Team. Nidalee and Kassadin taken out on the side of AHQ Fighters. So usually when AHQ Fighter ban out certain champions, they usually have a game plan. So the Nidalee one is like what you mentioned earlier, to try to shut down some of this aggression that's coming in. And Kassadin as well, I believe that Light doesn't play a whole bunch of Kassadin, but just taking away the Kassadin just makes sure that you don't have this guy that's just running around and just warping in and out of team fights like that. So mandatory red side ban as well. So not too surprising.
So they know that RD really favors their Twitch, and AHQ Fighter, they actually are quite proficient at pulling off a Twitch composition.
Yep.
So that will be the third ban targeted at RD in this case, and shutting down the option of going for Twitch comp being available to AHQ, and LeBlanc will be the last ban for AHQ. So Nidalee, Caston and LeBlanc being banned out, 3 mid lane bans being targeted like Lee Sin Kill on Twitch, but this opens up Lulu available to Imperium Pro Team, and Imperium Pro Team, they really love playing their Lulu.
Yeah, and it's a very smart pick against AHQ Fighters as well, because if you look at it, Lulu, not only is it a versatile pick where you can go into the top lane, mid lane, or even in the support role, it is one of those champions where you can create a very big defense zone using the shield, using the wild growth as well, and using the glitter lens to disengage. It's definitely one of those counters against a hyper-aggressive team, but with that being said, it leaves a couple of options to AHQ Fighter, because now we do have Zed available. We have seen Choi already played that in their game, and we might see the fresh comeback into action for Ysera. Both the support players for the fighters as well as the AHQ main squad have shown their effectiveness and their mastery on Thresh, so not too surprising. And once again, we have one more Zed game being played tonight.
Well, I'm not sure if this is arrogance on Mr. Albus' part picking a Zed in the Imperium Pro Team, because we've known to seen some teams actually pick up questionably joke champions against Imperium Pro teams, because they have been doing so badly in the GPL. Some teams just don't give them the respect they need, going for this very weird picks. And Lulu is one of the hardest counters to the Zed, because the moment the death mark appears, you're going to time it, and the moment Zed pops up, pop the wild growth, interrupt him, knock him up, and he's unable to get the combo off, and you also get a nice boost of health to yourself.
Yeah, but it looks like it is going to be the Lulu up in the top lane, though, or even possibly in the support role, but given how the friends are going, I believe it should be up in the top lane. And right now it's going to be playing that Yasuo in the mid lane to go up against that. A very interesting counter, because not really a counter, but a very interesting interaction, because usually when you have a Zed in the mid lane, we get to see some of these very interesting champions come out to try to counter that out. And Mr. Elvis currently just hovering over that Udyr right now. Would love to see that and come back into play here. And will we see already actually lock in that Varus? Would love to see that come into play again. And are we actually going to see that Gragas up in the top lane again?
So looks like the Taiwanese teams have been taking a favorite to playing a Gragas in the top lane, as we actually see them locking them for themselves. Well, we aren't really sure whether Zed or Gragas are going for at the moment. We are going to assume that Zed's going to go to the mid lane and Gragas is going to go to the top lane. We have seen a little bit of Gragas jungle as well. I believe Wargods put it off earlier today in CS Gaming. Legends put it off as well. But for now, I think it's a safe assumption that Gragas is in the mid lane. Is in the top lane, sorry.
And let's see what some of the responses coming in for Imperium Pro Team. But I like the fact that, you know, AHQ fighters, they love to fight and they like to make big risk, big reward plays, and you know, locking in that Draven just pretty much define that kind of play styles for themselves. So for already busting out that Draven action once again, you know, chain it up with Thresh again. We have seen that happen in the Garena Premier League so far, but still a very interesting, you know, composition to go up against if we do see that Nami locked in for this side of Imperium Pro Team.
That kind of feels like HQ are not just aiming to beat out Imperium Pro Team, they're actually looking to humiliate them in this, in this game, because the Draven pick here doesn't really follow with the rest of their picks. I mean, they have Zed already, which is a very strong split pusher. Usually you want to have something like Jinx to go alongside that, because you have, in the extended game, you can have a very strong pressing 4-on option against your opponents, but going for a Draven in this case, who doesn't really have the best siege, they're trying to go for a pick, so they're trying to go for sort of a big-esque kind of composition together with the Trash and Gragas at the same time. But nonetheless, on the sub Imperium Pro Team, there is very clear, it's a Yasuo Wombo combo team with the Vi in the jungle, Yasuo in the mid lane, Lulu in the top lane, with Nami and Lucian in the bottom lane.
Multiple setups for Yasuo in the mid lane, and that's something that we can explore later as we sort of discuss this team composition. But once again, another fifth game for the AHQ franchise here. I believe Mr. Elvis is going to be the one to play
Zed in the jungle.
Yeah, Zed in the jungle. I haven't seen that in a while ever since Insect sort of busted out in the Korean scene, but we will be seeing that in action very shortly. So right now, we actually will be going on a very short break as we will wait for the spectator delay to come back on. So do stay tuned. All right, we are loaded onto the rift now after the spectator delay. Imperium Pro Team starting things off on the blue side. going out against HQ Fighter on the red team, and they will be sure to what am I saying? They will be sure to look to replicate the success of the sister team earlier. They did go 2-0, and let's see if HQ Fighter can do so as well.
So looks like Imperium Pro Team, they will be starting on the blue side. So Chris, if you were to pick one of these teams to represent one of the countries in the World Cup, which country do you think Imperium Pro Team will be?
Which team would I think
given
Imperium
this
Pro
champion
team?
lineup that they have Nami, they have Striker Lucian, which team do you think they resemble the most?
This is a very tough question because I only watched the World Cups for some of the teams that I support, but I don't know. Where are you going with this?
Well, I'm just trying to create some banter over here as we see him.
No, I know, but where are you going with this? So if you're the one to choose, who would Imperium Pro Team be?
Well, I'm not very sure, but I'm pretty
Oh my
sure
God.
HQ are going to be South Korea in this case because like South Korea, they're going to dominate every League of Legends game.
Oh my goodness. Well, they dominated the OGN scene and of course the world scene as well, but doesn't look as dominating the World Cup. But
I like how we segue back away from the World Cup.
well, we are coming back into this game now as HQ Fighters have actually gone for the invade on the red side of the jungle. So we'll be looking to take that out for themselves. And HQ Fighters has been consistently doing this strategy where they actually sort of go for the 3-buff start here. But this time around, Imperium Pro Team with a very nice response because they pretty much just preemptively gone in for the red side invade. So great for them. They will be able to get their own red buff start.
Well, there we go. We actually see RD missing out the first X. Actually, the second X of the game.
Oh, actually, here we go now.
RD find him.
Isera actually gets the play in, and now Fear taking a whole bunch of damage from the order attacks as well. But it looks like HQ Fighter will be backing off at the end of it. Very good early game cheeky strategy from the Imperium Pro Team bomb lane though. The idea was there, but the bubble did not land on the two players.
Nonetheless, I have to say it was a good bubble still nonetheless, as it allowed them to actually come ahead in the trade. So this should give them a little bit of pressure in the early game as now Mr. Elvis is trying to pull a West door in the mid lane.
Trying to pull the West door in the mid lane, but having totally different starting items though. So let's see how that's going to progress out. As now we do have Isera playing it very aggressively, just standing in between himself and RD to create that zone. And actually now we do see RD with a very minute lead over Fear at this point of time. And as a Draven player, you want to get those axes starting up. And actually now we have the aggression coming in. Fear going aggressively against RD. That's the first, but Shadow picks that one up. And now Isera in a bit of trouble over here. But here comes Lantier with the Shadows. He will bring Fear down. Now Shadow against Shadow action here. It might be just Lantier picking up one more kill for himself. And yes, he does. That's one more kill. A great turnaround for the fighters.
And Shadow falls to the shadows as Lantern is able to pick up the kill for himself. So 2-1 in the favor of HQ Fighters so far. But nonetheless, I have to say, Imperium Pro Team, they did a good job. They identified the HQ Fighter. They will be hitting level 2 slightly later and went all in the moment the window opened.
I was a bit confused there. There were so many shadows and
lots of shadows over the place.
How can there be so many shadows in the world when there's just 2 million people in the world? But anyway, coming back into this game, Elvis going up against Light now. Very aggressive trade-off back and forth, and now Light gets the jump onto Mr. Elvis. And so actually, now they have thought of it. Might see him just go down over here. Lantern with a very aggressive push as well. Might see him go down over here, and yes, he gets the kill onto Mr. Elvis. 1-for-1 trade, not too bad, given the fact that there was Lantern there to give the assist to the mid laner. And I was about to say, now we see Elvis changing back to his original name, Mr. Elvis. Just adds so much more swag to the entire IGN here. Before that, he was Elvis, and now he's Mr. Elvis.
Mr. for the additional swag. And to answer your question as to why are there so many shadows in the bot lane, that's because we have another player named Light in the mid lane. And wherever there is Light, there will always be shadows. So expect Lantier to be ganking the mid lane a lot this game.
So are you going to say that with every shadow, there will be a tail where there's a hero?
Well, you could say that as well. So maybe this is the reason behind IPT's name. It's like Kaigu is the hero who spawned out of fear, and then because of the light that's casted onto him, he has this shadow, and at the end of it, there's a hero.
Let's see if he's going to be the hero to come through here in this game. So Imperium Pro Team And HQ Fighters actually having a very chaotic start at the end of it all. 5 minutes into this game, we have 5 kills now chalked on the board. 1 kill per minute on average. And let's see if we're gonna get some more action. And Isara almost caught out by the bubble there. Here comes Lentier once again now jumping onto Fear now. As Fear actually still turning the aggression back around with the help of the minions over there. The idea was there, but the execution wasn't perfect.
So IPT definitely has to fear the Shadow in this game, as Lentier is the second time he has visited the bot lane already. And look at the amount of pressure he has put onto them. 3 summoners blown away on the side. Imperium Pro Team. Albus goes on to Light.
Not Albus, Mr. Albus, you know, just like how you would pronounce Draven's name. Not Draven, but Draven, okay? And right now this game haven't got any of those adoration stacks cashed in for himself, but you know, he should be able to get those in, and actually Fish kind of educated us on that as well. For Draven players, they don't want to get those kills earlier on. They want to actually get some stacks in first before they finally cash in their first, first stack for them. And now actually Light in a bit of trouble here. We might see him getting caught out here. Kaigo to his rescue, and Lentier going in aggressively on him as a very clutch wild growth that will save Light's life over there. Great teleport timing from Hero to save his mid laner.
That was a split second away from Lentier actually landing the last hit onto Light. The wild growth timing was just so close. If it was a split second later, Lentier would have landed the auto attack and Light would have fallen.
That's why he's the hero.
Definitely indeed. The hero
Simple.
to the rescue in this case.
Yeah, so actually IPT not doing too badly for themselves, but that's usually the general trend in the game. Their early game isn't that terrible, but when it comes to the mid game, they often struggle because they seem kind of lost. And let's hope they are able to sort of find their way around this game against fighters. Because if you think about it, these two teams, they really like to fight. They will pick up fights at any given opportunity, and it means that we will have a very bloody game as lots of kills go down.
Actually, already using the W to actually speed out the bubble in that situation, grabbing the X along the way. The Shadow and Fear, they have been consistently pushing on the ball lane, as once again, we see the Master of Shadows coming down to the bottom lane again.
Yeah, we might see the Lantern gang come through again now. Ysera tossing the Lantern right in front, but here comes the mark now, and Shadow might just go down the process. Now Fear gets caught up with the death sentence. The blade doesn't come through, so in the end, it was a very close exchange. Now Kaigo making his way down to the bottom lane together with Light. We might actually see some action come through now. Already backing the hell away as Light still chasing on to him now. In the end, with just 4 members down for IPT, and actually Fear gets caught over there. Lantern picks up the kill with the Shuriken, and Kaigo has to run for his life now. And the Lantern has actually caught up. The last breath comes through. Lantern getting caught out very low here. Light picks up the kill onto Lantern, but he himself is going low. He will go down to the Ignite over there as Elvis is the one to pick up the kill. As in the end, it was a 1-for-1 trade with so much risk taken on the side of IPT.
Definitely indeed. It's like what you were saying, Chris. Lots of skirmishes, lots of fights everywhere. This HQ Fighter team, they definitely want to brawl with you. Like the symbol says, is a fist right in your face. The other guy at the bar who, at the slightest thing, slammed the table and pick a fight with you.
My goodness, I would not want to see HQ Fighters in real life if that's how aggressive they are in real life as they play in the game. But so far, they have been playing pretty well. You know, it was IPT that got the initial jump onto them, but then they just turn it around like it would. And, you know, it was a pretty bad timing as well for Imperium Pro Team. If they would have waited for a while longer, Kaigo would have gotten his assault and battery, and that would have made a bigger difference in that skirmish down the bottom lane.
As now CCB in the top lane, he is actually has a slight CS lead over his lane opponent because Hero actually uses teleport earlier to get into the mid lane.
Yeah, so, you know, I would love to see how actually the first team fight that CCB brings to the table and how that will actually change the team dynamics and the skirmishes that's going to happen, as now we do have Ysera moving in, trying to get the zone down onto Light as he just carefully backs away from there. Artie is now left all alone down in this bomb lane. He has to be very careful because he doesn't have a dash like what Lucian has to try to disengage.
Actually, I know what is the theme of this game.
Yes.
It's heroes against villains. Just look at AHQ's lineup. It's all the villains in League of Legends. Trash, the Nemesis, Delusion. Zed, he's the enemy of Shen as well. He's a bad guy, full stop.
Okay.
Fish, well, I'm not really sure why he has, but when you pick up the Void skin, I'm pretty sure it becomes the Nemesis as well. And Gragas in the top lane, he's traveling the world to find that blue, but you never know. It's always these people who appear at the end of the story, and surprise, I'm actually the one pulling the strings. I'm the real bad guy.
Is Gragas a villain actually in the game?
Well, he's kind of a neutral party, but it's not what I said.
He's just a beer drinker, man. Cut him some slack.
That's the plot twist. That's the plot twist. He's just a beer drinker. No one expects him to be the final boss at the end of the game.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going with this. Okay, that's fair enough. Is Draven a villain as well? I don't think he's a villain. I know he's really obnoxious.
He's not just a villain, he's a villain. Like, he's how he's
My
brave.
goodness. And actually, here comes the fight, and Hero in a whole bunch of trouble, getting caught out in this entire fight over here. Lantern picks up the kill once again. 3-1-3 in this entire game so far. As actually we do have Kaigu still looking around the bomb lane, trying to find a pick onto RD, I believe, but there was that ward to spot out his action. So it's been, you know, just staying around the bomb lane but not making any effective efforts. And now in the mid lane, getting caught out. Chumna Water comes through as well as Mr. Albis dashes through the terrain. He should be able to get the kill onto Kaigo here and extending his blue buff or not. Yes, he does, as he makes the great escape out of there.
Oh, not so much of a great escape. No one's chasing you in the case, but nonetheless, he will be using the playful trickster over the wall and getting out of there safely.
Yep, and Light returning to the mid lane once again, hopefully trying to find the revenge kill onto Mr. Elvis, but doesn't have the setup to try to do so. And of course, here comes down the bomb lane. The action comes through again as now already finally cashing the money in the bank as he gets the stacks down for himself.
Here's another hero that will feed in with IPT splat at the moment, with Light at 2, 2, and 0. He has the most goal on the team of Imperium Pro Team, and they definitely have to be tier 1 falling at this point in time because they are definitely putting their faith in the Light.
My goodness, here comes the last breath onto Mr. Elvis, and that's the last breath that he will take momentarily as now Lantern chases on for the return kill, and yes, he would get it, almost taking one too much damage from the turret, but he will survive though. And right now, 4-1-3, being the huge success in this game, 7 out of 9 kills participation, and Sarah comes back to the bottom lane to actually try to save RD out in that one, and he's actually getting slowed down in that one. We might see Hero make some participation as well. He's Sarah in a whole bunch of trouble. Stream and Flame not gonna help out too much. The Wild Growth is gonna slow RD down as well. Shadow comes through. The explosive cast actually pushes Shadow away as RD goes down to Imperium Pro Team's Hero, and CCB getting caught out with 4 men surrounding him. He's gonna go down. Double kill now goes on to Fear as they proceed on to Dragon.
So, and the hero makes it big in this situation, teleporting to the rescue of his friends and getting a Wild Growth to knock out multiple members of the AHQ fighter team. Let's take a look at a replay of the heroic adventure of Imperium Pro Team and friends.
This is not too deep on this one. He might just go down over here, and yes, he does. Artie is the one to cash in that goal as well. And now Ysera might just go down over here. No, he flashes out, and actually the shutdown comes back down to Mr. Albus. And now Lantern gives chase onto Fear. Now Hero picks up the one more kill onto Lantern. Shadow might just go down in the entire process. Albus is the one to lock in that kill. And Hero now going aggressively. Yes, he does gets one kill at least before he goes down. Double kill now goes to Mr. Elvis, and that's the ace with 3 members still surviving on the side of the fighters.
My goodness, Chris, what a game we have here. 19 minutes into the game, approaching 20 minutes. This is the second Dragon down and 33 kills across both teams so far. 18 to 15 in AHQ Fighters' favor.
Yep, and you know, I never expected this game to be so close in terms of kill count. And I'm loving this game so far, honestly, because if you look at it, we have some of the games who are a little bit more slow-paced, but I just love to see all this action break out into the fights here. And AHQ Fighters finally bringing this goal lead to their advantages. So 2,000 goal with the Dragon pickup as well. And, you know, Imperium Pro Team are definitely the underdogs to come into this game. And, you know, AHQ Fighters has been a fair bit of hype revolving around them. And for them to bring them to this quality of standards and of course bringing it to such a close game, it just means to show that Imperium Pro Team are just so hungry to try to secure their first victory in the spring split. Sorry, not the spring split, the summer split.
Nonetheless, Imperium Pro Team, I have to criticize their vision control over the fight previously. They went deeper to the Pro's jungle and look at where their wards were. Their wards were in the locations where the teammates were standing. And you want wards where your team isn't standing so you can spot the engage coming in from your opponents. But what happened was that they were standing over their own wards, and as a result, actually Fear chunked extremely low.
Yeah, he got chunked extremely low in that one. Actually, already has to flash over the terrain. And the ultimate gets blocked out from the wind wall as well. Explosive cost has to come through. Now AHQ getting jumped on. The last breath comes through. And now Artie is going to go down to Fear as well. And CCB trying to get the chase on. And Ysera hooks Shadow right back into the fight here. The fish is going to come through. And Kaigo with a great punch to save Shadow's life. And now Mr. Elvis has to disengage. The Zonya comes through as well. Now Kaigo trying to find the focus on to Mr. Elvis. He might just be able to get that. All the flashing health bars on the side of AHQ fighters. So okay, Hero might be able to be the hero, but CCB still very tanky in the entire fight. And you know, in the whole time while this skirmish is breaking down, Lantier pushed down the bomb turret as well. So that's one more global objective going to Lantier's favor.
So this is the split push that will be coming for Lantier. So far, no one on the side of Imperium Pro Team will be able to deal with this split pushing menace. 6, 3, and 6 on that. I mean, let's not let those numbers deceive you, because this has been an extremely skirmishy game with lots of fights happening everywhere. 36 kills so far. But let's take a look at how much gold has gone onto Lantier. That is 9,000 gold onto him so far, and look at the items that he has completed. 10,000 gold onto Mr. Albus as well. Those numbers are phenomenal. Comparing that to what Kaigo has at the moment, 6,000 to the 9,000. That's a 3,000 gold disparity at 20 minutes.
Yep, and right now, finally, we do see HQ fighters pulling the goal gap apart. I almost feel like, you know, they're just, you know, sort of saying, you know, it's time for us to assert our dominance as the Taiwanese powerhouse over here, and enough is enough. We are going to start focusing on the objectives right now. They are ahead in global objectives, taking multiple dragons and having the turret advantage as well. And you know, the big story about this game is Lantier always finding the right picks at the right time. 6, 3, and 6, just like you mentioned, and of course, they are channeling a lot of those kills to Mr. Albis. Now finishing up the Zonyas, has the Lich Bane, and one more needlessly large item, which I believe would be converted into a death cap really quickly.
Now Imperium Pro Team, they are really sticking together. Friendship is magic, and they are sticking as 5, trying to make plays into HQ whenever they overextend to them. But this is HQ responding very well to them, splitting 1, 3, and 1 to be able to pull and draw the team of Imperium Pro Team apart.
So Imperium Pro Team here struggling to keep their base alive in this situation. And just like you mentioned, you know, Lantier is trying to be that split push menace that Imperium Pro Team cannot deal with, and he looks to have the tools in order to do so. A bit of a Ring King completed, Brutalizer as well. He's going to be a very hard, you know, a very hard person to try to duel with. And
just look at his CS, 171. That is more than anyone on Imperium Pro Team at the moment. And this is because Imperium Pro Team, they've been forced to stick together as 5 for such a long period of the game. Although yes, they have come out ahead on some of the very scrappy skirmishes that AHQ has been trying to force. As a result, they lose out because Lantier is farming, Mr. Albus is farming as they're split pushing these side lanes. And as a result, we can see the CS discrepancy between these two teams.
Not only does he have the higher amount of CS on the side of Imperium Pro Team on his team as well. And it's kind of rare to see the jungler having so much farm channel out on his side. But you know, it's working well for him. He has the Yomu's gold split completed now, which means that he's gonna be able to dish out even more damage from before with that additional boost to the attack speed and the movement speed as well. So let's see what's going to be the strategy here. Looks like HQ are trying to channel their attention up at the top lane, with already now joining up with Mr. Elvis to sort of circle around, but the entire squad of Imperium Pro Team are trying to respond to that. The sweeper barely missing on the ward though.
And now IPT once again grouping together as 5, and the rest of AHQ fighters splitting 4 and 1, trying to execute this split push options. And it looks like they are kind of trying to set up for a Baron catch over here as they have used the sweeping lances. And actually they're going to start up on the Baron itself. It's 25 minutes into the game. This should be very clear signal. Imperium Pro Team, they have no vision to AHQ. What is their response going to be?
This is sort of a off-tempo. Oh, here comes Shadow, getting called out, instantly melted down from 100 to 0. And Kaigo in a bit of trouble as well. Are we going to see the triple kill come in from Mr. Albus? Lantern picks up the 1 kill for himself. And Hero goes down as well. Double kill for both the mid laner as well as the jungler. And now Hero actually gets 1 return kill onto Ysera. And Light has to run for his life here. I believe he should be able to make the great escape, as there's not enough mobility on the side of the on AHQ fighters to try to keep up to that. But they pick up the Baron, they pick up 4 kills, they should be able to translate that into an objective.
So they are now knocking onto the mid lane inhibitor turret. They should be able to get that. It looks like they will be countering onto the inhibitor itself. A Shadow will be stepping forward, but it looks like against these 4 Baron buff members, they could probably take on Imperium Pro Team 4 and 5.
Yeah, so they take out the mid lane inhibitor as well. So with all that's being said and done, they have stretched out this goal lead like a rubber band. 10,000 goal lead in their advantages now. And actually, we might see Artie getting caught out of position. The last rep comes through. The knockup comes in as well. Artie aggroing onto the dragon. He might as well just do the dragon while he's trying to make his escape. And now Light chasing onto Artie now. Getting knocked back by the step aside. We might see Artie turning things around as Lantern picks up the kill on Hero in the background. And Mr. Elba is coming to the assist. Now 1 more kill being secured. Double kill yet again on Mr. Elbis as already finishes off the dragon as well. That's the ace for AHQ Fighter, and they might just be able to pick up the bottom inhibitor off of that.
Chris, sometimes I really wish I can have some of these players on my fantasy RCS team. 14, 4, and 4. That is, let me count, 28 plus 6, 34 minus 2. That is 32 points, 33 points in a single game so far being picked up by Mr. Elbis already.
Wow, goodness. AHQ Fire coming back in this game, and we might just see some more skirmishes break out as well. And you're so good at mathematics. Count the amount of kills in this game. We're 28 minutes in. Count the amount of kills.
46 is the number of kills.
46 kills in 27 minutes. That's how crazy this game has been so far. And 14, 4, and 4 on Mr. Elvis, just like you pointed out. Finishing off the death cap. Haunting Guys completed as well. And Lenter has been the other success story. 10 kills, 3 deaths, and 7 assists. And finishing off the Guardian's Angel, just wanting to get that little bit of life reset to go in for more aggressive plays.
Definitely indeed. Now actually that should be about 1.5 kills a minute in this case, as once again we see another one as Mr. Albis simply removes Light from the map, and without Light there is little hope for Imperium Pro Team anymore.
I just looked away from the screen and we saw Light just go down in the process. So that's how dangerous Mr. Albis is in this game now. The insta-gate potential is just too great for Imperium Pro Team to sort of deal with, and now if you're using the culling to clear out the way, so Lantern will have to wait for the next wave in order to try to push onto the turret again, but Kaigo is just right around the corner, and now already looking to rejoin the team to make the pushes happen with the mid lane now down and the Super Minion knocking also the base of Imperium Pro Team. We might just see the split push work out. I think Imperium Pro Team has to give out one of these lanes.
I think Artie is just jealous of his KD kills in comparison to his peers. Actually now Lantern goes in on the fear, there's the death mark.
Oh my god, almost melting down Fear, and now he gets the kill, and he will dash out of there with the Shadow, and Hero getting brought to half of just from the Thunder Waters, and now last rep comes through. We might see Light actually picking up a kill here. Shadow picks up 1 kill onto Ysera, but in return, Artie cashes in the goal onto Light here. And now look at the amount of damage that Light deals out, Artie deals out with the spinning axes time and time again, one after the other. And this is going to be game for HQ Fighters. The Nexus turret is going to go down, and Artie actually dashes into the fountain for 1 extra kill to get some more kills in. And HQ Fighters close out the last game for tonight against Imperium Pro Team.
And definitely congratulations to HQ Fighter. It was once again Goliath going onto David.
It was the punch. It was the punch.
It's the punch, yes, definitely.
Yes.
Multiple punches all over the place, starting with bot lane, mid lane, bot lane, again and again and again. Imperium Pro Team, yes, they won some skirmishes in that, but against the Fighting Masters HQ, they are the fighting club, and they definitely came out ahead in this game.
That's right. And Imperium Pro Team had a pretty decent showing, in the early stages of the game. But HQ Fighters, they knew how to capitalize on some of those major kills that they have in the game, and that translated into objectives, and it was just an unstoppable snowball that turned into an avalanche. So with that, we have the last match wrapped up for tonight, and just want to give a public service announcement to our viewers, because we have seen some of the teams making victories, and we want you to win something for yourself as well. So do tweet at us, or use that hashtag GPL Esports on Facebook as well. Answer the question for this week: if LOL is made into a movie, if League of Legends was made into a movie, which actors/actress would you like to see in that movie? We will pick out the best answers, and the winner will get to stand a chance to win the Tango TF.
And let's not forget, let's take a look at next week's matches. So,
I mean tomorrow's matches.
Tomorrow's matches, sorry.
So for tomorrow, starting things off, it's going to be Bangkok Titans going up against Zubu Taipei Assassins. And now with the new interface, we get to see all the timings all at one time now. So do check your own time zones for whichever timing that you see fit. And RSG Legends going up against Saigon Jokers for the second match of tomorrow's matchup.
Incidents Gaming Rebuff will be playing against the Saigon Fantastic 5, and rounding off the action will be Wargods against Marchi to end the night.
That's right. So that is going to be it for all of us here tonight.